Hi guys, in this video I am going to explain Spontaneous Movie. The story in today's film is about a strange illness that affects people. They begin to break automatically. The film begins in a classroom where everyone was taking a lecture. The lead actress Mara is later introduced to us. While listening to the lecture, she was growing bored, and she was playing with her pencil. It fell to the ground when she bends to grab her pencil. Meanwhile, the girl seated close by her braked. The red liquid splashed all over the place. Everyone becomes terrified as a result of this incident. Everyone except Mara was covered in red liquid, and Mara feels frightened after seeing this. All the students leave the class and come out. Mara's best friend approaches her and inquires about what happened in class in the meanwhile. But Mara didn't tell her anything. Mara seemed perplexed because it was difficult to see everything with her eyes. Mara informs her best friend, "I barely bent and the girl in front of me braked." Mara shows her shoes to her best friend that were stained red liquid red. When the forensic lab team arrives in the classroom to check, they don't find anything except the red liquid. The students were afterward taken to the police station for an investigation. An officer looks into Mara as well, but Mara was unable to respond to any of the inquiries. The police now clean up her red liquid and give the students new uniforms. And they were all wearing uniforms. They were talking about the girl who was blasted. Few people thought she was an alien, while some thought she might have any illness. Everyone was then sent out from the police station. The next day the girl's funeral was made. Mara returns with her best friend after attending her funeral. Mara's best friend was with her since childhood. They have been great friends since their childhood. Currently they arrive at a coffee shop for having coffee. While they were conversing, their other friend arrived. His name is Dylan, who sits with them there. He tells Mara that he really likes Mara. He never has enough courage to tell her, though. Additionally, he tells Mara that he used to chat with her from an unknown number. Mara was perplexed but also delighted since she finally knew the unknown person. Mara and Dylan become good friends and they prepare for a college party. "Since when do you like me?" Mara queries. He tells her, "When I came first time into the classroom, the teacher introduced me with everyone and I began to like you. I've liked you since I first saw you." Mara comes with Dylan to watch the game with him at stadium, and everything appeared to be normal and fine. Suddenly another man breaks and everyone starts to panic after seeing him. Everybody was running here and there. Everyone becomes feared as they watch him. Mara also becomes afraid to see this all. Schools and colleges were closed the next day. Mara couldn't enjoy herself at home and she quickly grew bored. Dylan takes a truck one night and takes Mara with him at a party. They enjoy their time together a lot. When they come out from the party and they were together, they hear some sounds. Everyone was yelling and running around. When they both go inside to check why they are acting in this way, meanwhile another girl braked over there. As they observe this, both become quite worried. After this incident, Mara visits the agent after bringing her friend. She starts to question why people are blasting in this way. There might be any reason behind this. "What do you believe caused this explosion?" Mara asks. The agent claims that the cause is still under investigation but will be discovered soon. Why is this taking place with people? Why is everyone exploding? The next day Mara goes on a long drive along with her friends. Suddenly the friend who was driving braked. Before they could make any sense, Mara's other companion brakes. Mara informs Dylan, who has also reached there. But when he notices the state of the car, he starts to feel terrified. Their car was covered in red liquid and he didn't find anyone in the car. In the midst of the red liquidy scene, he notices a stone on which a hand was drawn with red liquid. He learns that someone might have gone toward the jungle. Mara might be, and Dylan subsequently discovers Mara. She arrives at a pond to clean herself. Because her body was covered in red liquid and Mara was quite terrified, she gives Dylan a hug and eventually they return to normal and engage in conversation. As they were talking, some people wearing protective suits arrived. They take them to the hospital. A doctor examines Mara. All of the pupils were kept quarantined and the doctors called the students. Since only students were experiencing this all till now, they take their 10 samples and talk to them as well. All the students grow bored while living in quarantine. Meanwhile, the minister comes there one day and he invites them for a meeting. He was motivating everyone and reassuring them that we're trying our best to figure out the cause, that why is this happening, and you know it is only happening with the young generation. We'll look into this soon. You can return to your home if you accompany us. Mara and the other classmates become angry after hearing this. Because they were forcibly put in quarantine, they begin to raise their slogans against the government. Another boy starts to break as they are doing this. The exploding process begins gradually, one by one. This incident leaves everyone in shock. Nobody was aware that how this could be possible to happen to anyone. The remaining students were quite frightened, because they were afraid of the thought that whose turn will be the next. Doctors were making every effort as they tested each student. Separately, they also prepare medicine for them. However, no treatment has been successful to date and all of the experiments failed. Because it was Christmas, all of the students were sent home to celebrate Christmas. They all grow excited to see their parents when they arrive to pick them up. Mara also becomes happy to meet her parents. She returns home and starts to get ready for Christmas. Mara visits that agent the following day and inquires about her test reports. The agent assures her that everything is normal. Later, Mara visits Dylan, who is delighted to witness her surprise. They propose to each other and Mara becomes quite happy. Mary at once accepts his proposal. They spend a great time together. The next day, a doctor comes into their class and asks them to exercise with a healthy diet. While explaining the exercise, one student breaks out suddenly. Everyone starts to panic and the classroom becomes chaotic. Later, a few more students break and everyone starts to flee in terror. Everyone tried to save his life. Mara and Dylan grow joyful when they see one another, that they're still alive, and they hug each other. Dylan was about to say something to Mara, but he suddenly breaks in front of Mara. Mara goes insane over Dylan's death. She becomes senseless and has no idea what has happened in front of her eyes. Mara returns home later. After coming home, she sits in the bathroom to clean herself. Her condition was very terrible. Mara's mother also visits her. The next day, Mara's dearest friend comes to meet her. Mara, though, was in ill condition because she still doesn't believe Dylan has died. He braked in front of her and she doesn't want to speak to anyone. Time continues to pass, and situation remains same. Every day each of them breaks. After 7 months, we see Mara. Mara's situation remained unchanged because she was still unable to forget Dylan. Mara used to drink and her best friend scolds her and asks Mara, how long will you remain in such a state? You should move on in life, and she tries to convince her to rejoin the school. Mara, however, pays no attention to her and ignores her completely. Mara's health deteriorated significantly and she became alcoholic. Her parents became saddened to see her in this state. They ask Mara to move on in her life. You ought to settle your life, yet Mara misbehaves with her parents. She claims she wants to break like everyone else, and I don't want to live anymore. After hearing this, her parents become silent. She opens a website after going into her room, where all of her friends have sent messages against her. They claimed that people were exploding everywhere Mara was. All of Mara's classmates at her school later believed that Mara was to blame for the explosion, and wherever Mara will be, an explosion will hit there. They start to think Mara an evil. Reading this, she becomes even sadder and visits her best friend. But Mara's best friend also thinks she is having any curse upon her. She believed that whoever will be with Mara would be braked. She also becomes afraid and leaves Mara. Mara was deeply hurt by her best friend's remarks. Mara goes to the school's convocation and tells everyone that she might be cursed. I've made the decision to go away from here. Mara feels very guilty and depressed as a result. Later, Mara visits Dylan's grave and starts conversing with him while lying down there. She was crying and telling Dylan, you always made me feel so special, and I'm missing you, and only I know how I'm living without you. She starts crying after saying this, and Mara's mother joins her. She lays down next to her and asks her not to pay heed to the remarks of others. If it was the case that people were bombed because of you, why are we still alive? You always live with us, and Mara becomes quite motivated by her mother's words. She also pledges to live her life properly. In the morning, Mara comes to her parents and apologizes for her mistakes. The film's final scene reveals that the blasting of people has stopped. Mara's life has since been restarted, but in this film it was a mystery why people were exploding, and no one has been able to know this yet. The film ends with this